off with was understanding the concept of, the word Linux itself, right? We said that Linux was basically a project that was created by our own Linus B. Torvalds. It was, in fact, never intended to be an operating system in the first place. It was kind of a kernel he had planned. Okay, and then further it got developed into an full-fledged, different distributions of that as we discussed. But we understood the importance of uh, using a kernel in the environment, right? Being a intermediate between your software and your hardware counterpart. Now we've seen what are the benefits of using such Linux operating systems, right? Linux operating systems are basically the operating systems, as we've discussed, where the kernel is Linux, right? So yes, we discussed it is open source, secure, stable, community support, strong community support behind it, and easy to use as well. These are some of the many advantages that Linux does provide. We have had a detailed discussion on that the last time around. Then we discussed what is Linux distribution. So Linux distribution, basically these are the operating systems which are installable on our desktops, on our laptops, right? They're constructed, as we discussed, from Linux kernel only. That's why you see, obviously, the name is Linux. Right. And on that, Linux, basically, when you configure your user programs and libraries and UI and everything, okay, that becomes a full-fledged, usable operating system, right? So as such, if you remember, team, yesterday we have enlisted few of those like Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, Linux Mint, Fedora, CentOS, OpenSUSE, right? So as such, we have discussed that there are many distributions which are available where or which we can use to kind of work in a Linux environment. Right. And then yesterday we had started off with understanding the file. In fact, this is the discussion we'll be taking up further today. That's why I'm just revising it again. So Linux file system hierarchy is what we were looking at, that in the Linux environment, you will see there is a hierarchy of the file system, right? Different places are there for different kind of information. Like you have slash forward slash, generally referred to as the root directory. We can also use it as a separator to specify a location. We saw slash bin in order to keep your binaries. Second, we have set it to etc, the slash etc, where the configuration files of the systems are kept. I'll show you all of that, okay? In just some time. Slash home is there, where the configuration files and personal data of users are being kept. And also we have slash root as well, administrative user and the root user information is being kept there. Now, after that, team, one thing before we ended the session yesterday, we saw that we wanted to use in order to work on a Linux machine instead of configuring that kind of from scratch and having to remove my existing OS and everything. Why to take up that stress when you have a readily available environment to go with? And that's why, team, yesterday, if you remember, I had discussed with you that we were going to use EC2 as a or EC2 machine as a way to interact with the Linux environment. Let's just see that. So if you remember, if I just go back here, on the console, I have already explained you the kind of console you get here and the service that we are going to use for getting access to a Linux machine on cloud of AWS, to be specific. If you remember, we had spun up one machine, right? Last time around. And that machine must be in the stopped state. And you can see, this is the machine that we had configured yesterday, right? And you can see for all the details behind this machine as you go down. Now, we have created it of the kind Ubuntu. So Ubuntu Linux distribution is what we have used underneath. Okay, and that's what we'll be exploring today. Okay, so for that to happen, one thing you'll have to do is you'll have to enable or rather start this machine again from where we can take it further. Okay, so let's just make sure to do that. In just some time, in few seconds rather, you will see that this machine will be up and running. And then we will connect to this machine in order to explore the Linux environment further. Let's wait for few more seconds. it's initializing. Rather, we even don't have to wait for that initializing. We can directly connect to this machine. Okay, basically, team, remember this connect option is the way you can get inside that machine. Okay, to put it simply. Okay, we can even do, I mean, if you've ever worked on the AWS environment, you'll know that we can even do it from external or externally as well. Like you can use Putty and those tools, or you can use SSH. So there are different ways, by the way, how you can connect your machine on the AWS environment. In this case, I'll be going with the simplest one among all. And I'll just select this one and click on connect. Right, so this is the way we connect to it. We go down, click on connect again. And this will let us get inside the machine that we've had. Now, team, if you remember, let me just clear this unnecessary stuff out. Oh, I think it's clear. CLS is on your Windows machine. So you see, this is what we had done yesterday, right? I had used a single command yesterday just to show you how you can set the network name or the name of the machine on the network. Okay, we can configure that with the command as we used yesterday. Right. So that we have done. Okay, now let's just take it further, team, today and explore some more commands and more kind of utilities, or rather the functionalities that's available under the Linux environment. Okay, the name, if you remember, the name that we had given yesterday for this machine is Linux Workstation. Right, we had used the command of sudo host name curl, set host name, and we had given it a name, Linux Workstation. Now, team, let's just go further a bit and just see for what else can we do here. Now, one of the way you can access this environment, isn't it, is like, for example, I want to move to a particular location. But before that, I'll just show you the simplest command that's possible. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. Give me a second. All right. It's just zooming just zooming in. It's just so that you can see the things happening a lot more clearly. Okay, so this is the environment that we're using right now. Okay, I could have done this by SSHing into my machine as well from my local machine, but just saving some time doing that otherwise configuration. Okay, we can directly use this browser-based utility. Why to do that again in a complex way? So here we are, team. Let's just go ahead and carry out or look out for some of the very common commands that we use in the Linux environment. Okay. For example, let's just say if I use this command ls. Okay. Right now, you see we don't have anything over here. Right. So that's why it is not showing anything. Okay. But as we'll move further, as we'll create more and more things, okay, we will be able to basically use this particular command and see for the content at a particular, or list down the content at a particular location. Until then, let's just explore the next command. Okay. For example, let's just say I want to move to a particular path. Okay. So the command for that could be like, we can use a cd command. Change directory. Okay. Right now, again, I'm yet to show you how to create a directory on all. But let's just go to certain paths where we already know, right? If you remember, while discussing yesterday with you, okay, I've told you there are certain standard paths like this, right? /bin, /etc, /home, /root. Right? Let's just see if we can move in any one of these. Okay, so let's just see if I go for cd/etc. CD stands for change directory. Let's just see if we can go there, and you can see right now, just observe the things that are changing here. You can see now you have moved on to the etc directory. Okay, now yesterday I've told you this is the place where we generally keep the configuration files. Let's just see what kind of those are there. So now if I do an ls, like I told earlier, it was not working, right? Because we did not have anything in there. But now if I go and do ls, let's just see, you see the kind of configuration files that are out there. Huge number. Right. Now, one of our importance, let's just see, for example, JKLMOP, you see, for example, this password, this one. Let's just see what's in there. Okay, so how can you do it? So, for example, let's just, by the way, another command I just explained, I'll just kind of show you here, is if you use a clear, just like the word itself indicates, it will clear the content on your screen. Right. So when I press clear, you'll see that everything will be gone, what you have done until now. Now, let's just say I want to, that we have a file here in the name of password, PASSWD. Now, I want to see exactly what's in there or what's written on that file. Okay, so in fact, before we go there, let me just quickly show you as well on the official documentation what we have there. For example, if I say /etc, I'll just discuss, I'll just show you over here what does it carry. So you can say /etc/password. What does it have? Okay, so you get different kind of documents to look into, but let's just go with the IBM, right? Let's just have a look at what does this file carry. Okay, before I show you that, so that you'll get an idea of why I'll be looking at it. /etc/password file. Traditionally, this particular file is used to keep track of every, now this is important, every registered user that has access to the system. Now we'll see in just some time what kind of users you can have, how you can create one and all of that. But timing, remember, whatever the kind of users that you may have, okay, it will have the track of every registered user that's part of your operating system. /etc/password file is a colon separated file that contains the following information: username, encrypted password, user ID, unique user ID will be there, group ID will be there. Don't worry, these concepts we'll discuss a bit further in our discussion. Okay, name of the user, home directory, login shell, and all of that information. Let's just see what kind of output do we see there. So for example, if I go back, here, I'll just use, now we are here, right? At this particular location. For example, let's just say I may want to go back one step. Okay, so we are at that /etc folder. You see, over this, just observing this path, you can understand which location you are at right now. Okay, so it is saying that we are at /etc folder. If you want to check it, you can even check it for your present working directory, where exactly you are right now. So pwd is another command that you can use there to identify where exactly you are right now. So you can see it is just telling you that you are at this /etc. Now let's just say from /etc, if I again want to come back to the home, or if I want to go one step back, so I can use a command called cd. But instead, if I want to go one step back, I can use a command like cd space dot dot. This should, or period. Basically, it will just take you back one step to the previous location or one hierarchy up. Okay, let's just see if it happens, and you can see now we are back. Okay, just observe, team, certain commands, certain very commonly used commands in the Linux environment that you should be familiar with. Now, another one is, as I've told you, that we have a file at that etc directory, right, in the name of password. Let's just see what's in there. So instead of going there and accessing that file, we can do it even without that. For example, there's a command for that. We use it cat. Cat is the command in Linux that shows you the content of that particular file. Okay, for example, if I want to do a cat on, let's just say /etc, /password. You'll see the exact kind of information like we discussed earlier. It is being shown. Okay, you can see, as I've told you, it will carry the information about all the users. Those have access to this particular environment or this particular system. Okay, so there is a root user, there's a daemon, there are certain system users. In fact, this is something I'll discuss a bit further. There's a root user, there are certain system users, as you can see over here, and then there can be regular users as well. Okay, we have not created the regular users yet. Okay, but we'll create those as and when required. And you can see there's a colon separated over here, right? You can see colon separated file. That's why it was telling you the same thing earlier. Just observe here. It's a colon separated file, right? And what are the difference here? For example, you see it is a similar kind of file that we saw a while back. Okay, so you'll have a username there. You can see this one, right? You will have a encrypted password. You have a UID. You have a GID. You have GCOS, right? Home user directory, right? And login shell as well. All this information is part of, you can see over here in this location. Don't worry, as we'll move further, no? We'll even discuss each one of them. Right now, we don't know much. That's why we are not taking in detail. We need to understand the kind of users and everything that we have. Now, you see, now that we have seen what kind of content that it does have, okay, you can see even some more information around it. Okay, if you want, you can explore it. But ultimately, if I go back here, let's just do a clear again. I want to clear every stuff out. Now, team, let's just see some of the ways how we can access these files. As right now, what I've just shown you is okay, you can go and see for what's the content in the file. But at times, it is not enough, right? I may want to also see for the different information or the different quotas or the different values as well around that information. Okay, for example, let's just say that I want to know the overall information statistically about this particular file, as we called it, your /etc/password. So one command that we can use for that is wc, and then we can use /etc/password. Let's just see what it shows up. So it is showing a few numbers here. Okay, just be aware what kind of numbers are those. So it's talking about this file. Okay, and it is saying that under this file, the number of lines that you have are 35. You can verify that with the previous output as well. The number of words that are part of the file are 51. Mm-hmm. And the number of characters that are present, you see, it's indicated using this 1850. Right. So if you just see again, for example, I want to understand it in detail. For example, if I just go for WC, instead of specifying that in general, I can specify which attribute I want to take out. For example, WC-L, and then I'll make sure to put like /etc/password. Once I do that, I think not password, it should be password. You see, once I do that, yes, Himanshu, I think, is there any doubt? Pranay?
WC command used for what?
Himanshu, just a second. I'm not able to, just give me a minute. Let me just increase the volume. Just give me.
No.
Just. Seems like the audio is kind of a bit low. Just give me a second. Let me just connect my external speaker for that. Yes, yes, Himanshu, you are saying something.
So WC command for use. For what reason?
Which one?
Means etc pass wd command. Sorry, etc pass wd files. It has users credentials and details, more details about
Right,
user.
right, right. So yes, exactly. So this is a file that will carry the information about the users which are using your operating system, right? Information about your root, information about your system users. We'll see that further. The information about your uh, regular users. We are going to create certain users as well as we'll move further. So yes, it will have the information about the users which are part of your environment. Yes, yes, Himanshu, that's true. So what's the question around it?
So my question is that so why we use WP? If we want to store the data of etc pass wd, we use the cat command with the help sorry and assign the some options like grab command, typing options, वगैरह. But what is the difference between cat and WC command? I don't know, but this is an interesting.
Himanshu, your voice is breaking a lot. I'm not able to hear you. Is it for me, team? Can you please confirm? Let me just check it with the others as well. Team, is it happening with you as well? Are you not able to hear Himanshu? Or is it only for me?
No, exactly, and we are not able to hear properly, Himanshu.
Yes, Davinder. So yes, I can hear Davinder entirely clearly. Himanshu, your voice is kind of breaking,
So,
not able.
Let Himanshu, WC is just like word count. Uh, so uh, cat is showing the all the contents. Even WC is showing only the word count. This are
Basically, it's
different.
statistical information is what we get there. So the number of words, sorry, the number of lines in that particular file, the number of words, the number of characters. So more of a statistical information in terms of understanding the overall, the statistical information. That's what I can say that we get over there. With that cat, if you want to compare with that, if you're asking that question as Davinder was saying, then it is for basically exactly understand the entire content within that. So are you asking that one? uh, Imanshu? I think you were, and I hope it's clear. Okay, if not, do let me know. Okay, Pranay, do you have a question?
yes, sir. I don't have any query.
You have got the answer, right, Imanshu?
Yeah, I've got it.
So you see, Yashwant again. I've got a question from Yashwant as well in person. But Yashwant, you see, when you use such a command, now you can process it further. You may want to understand the nature of the file. You may want to process the further file further, isn't it? So we utilize this information to understand the information about the specific targeted files. We can use this information further in order to process it. I'll show you. In fact, let's just say I want to understand what are the 10 users, what are the last two users, those were created. I want to understand the overall information about it. Right now, this is about the password file, but it could be for any other file. You may want to understand this information and then may want to process it further in order to use it. Right. All right. Okay. See, so like I was saying that, okay, not just that. I mean, it is just telling you about the number of lines. I can just change it, by the way, just to get an idea about, for example, I want to know the number of words there. Okay. Same goes. You will see it is saying 3551. And if I want to know it for number of characters, okay, this is the way how you can understand the overall statistics around your file. You can then further use it to kind of understand or process it even further. In fact, as I've told you, that at times it is important that I want only certain part of the data, right? And I don't want the entire file. For example, you saw, right? We had around 35 number of lines in that slash etc slash password file, right? Slash pass, another password file on the ECT path, etc path. But not all the time we require it, no? We don't require this entire data from the file all the time. We are looking for specific data. For example, I may want to know the first 10 users or the information about the first 10 users in my account. So there's a simple command for that you can go with, kind of called like head/etc/password. And you can see then it is not calling out all the 35 users that we saw earlier. It is just telling you that, okay, I just have 10. I mean, it is just calling out the first 10 users, and you can use this specific information as you require it in your application or in your task. The same thing can be as well done. For example, the same thing, if I want to do it specifically, for example, I want to specify the number as well, right? Right now, we are specifying, I mean, with the head, it is specifying the number by default as 10. Okay, but I can go ahead and specify the number over here as well. And you will see I'll get the corresponding response from there as well. Okay, so specifying the number, specifying, you can see where I've done it. You see over here /etc/11 over there, right? So I've got how many? I've got now 11 number of users, okay, as compared to what we had before, right? I'll just clear it out. So team, the idea here is that please be aware that, okay, at times you require certain amount of information, not the entire one. For example, I want not the first 10, I want the last information about the last 10 users, which are part of this operating system. So instead of head, I can go with the tell. I can specify that number. For example, I want the last 8 users. Okay, and where? Or the last 8 lines rather, okay, from that particular file, the last 8 number of lines, okay. And this is, I'm just showing you for one of the file, but this can be true for all the other files that will be there or that will be creating, that will be managing and everything. Okay, and then you can get, so you can see the last 10 users, sorry, last 8 users are being enlisted, okay. So right now the file did have users or the user information, but whatever kind of information that might have been or could be, but it will just tell you the information about the last 8 lines from there. Now, another command that's very common in the Linux environment is like, I want to understand the overall history. Okay, of what kind of commands have I used over the time? So you see, these are the certain commands that we've used, no? Just now. Clear, CLS, clear again, then ls, then cd, and all of the commands that we've used until now. Okay, you can get the gist of it. You can get a list of it. Okay, so that later on, for the compliance sake, later on for being able to keep track of what you have done as a part of that particular session, what kind of commands that you have run over there. Right. So all of that information will be available. You can use this history command and that will give you the required information. Okay. So team, this was a basic, very common and very simplest of the commands that we are using right now, just to get some information about the files and the particular path and a particular the statistics around it, getting word count there, getting to know the number of lines and everything, the cd command, the pwd command, the ls command. These are some of the very, very basic commands that we generally use within the Linux environment. Now, let us take it one step further. Okay, let's just see a very common thing that you will do in a Linux environment. Okay, is that you may want to store or you may want to have your own directories there. Right. So, how can you create your own directories in the user's home directory? So we are in the home directory of our user, the one that I'm using it with. Okay, now here I would like to show you how you can create your own directories and you can work with those as well. Okay, so right now, as I've told you, there was nothing here. If I do an ls, okay, basically, yeah, we are back to this location, and you can see that we have /etc/everything. All these things are there. Okay, but let's just do what is at this particular location. we will create few folders, or I mean, rather, as we call them, the directories in this environment. Okay. So the command that we use for that is mkdir. Now, these are certain commands that we'll be using further as well, team. Again, that's why it's important to know that what is the use and what's the importance of using these commands. Okay. So let's just say we are creating directories here. Okay. And these directories, for example, I just say that they belong to different kind of uh, movies, right? The different kind of genres of movies, right? For example, let's just say I'm creating a directory here in the name of horror. I'm creating another directory here in the name of comedy. I'm creating another directory here in the name of drama. Okay, so let's just see how we can use this or how we can create. In fact, I could have used mkdir, by the way, team, just to create a single directory over there. Okay, so or just plugging in the charger. Yeah, so like I was saying that I could have just gone ahead and created a single directory as well. And it is very much possible. For example, I want to create a single directory in the name of horror. Okay. And we can do that for sure. For example, if I go ahead and click on horror, but what we'll do now? Let's just make it a lot more interesting. Okay. I just created a directory called movies. Okay. In that we'll create all of these further folders. Okay. Just to show you clearly. So let's just say I create. I mean, I could have done this. The problem being, I need the permissions there. Okay. So in order to do this, right now we are the regular user. Yes, we are the regular user, and that's why we are not getting the permissions. But what we can do is we can privilege or we can get elevated permissions by using a command. Again, this is one more command, which is sudo su. Okay, if I execute this, this will elevate my permissions, okay, to become the sudo user or the super user rather over here. I've told you, team, a super user will basically or can basically do anything that it wants, being having lot permissions. Let's just see what it does. For example, if I do an ls here, these are the similar directories that we have, similar data that we have. And if I do mkdir movies, you can see that I must have got, I'll just do a clear here. And if I do an ls, you should see that we must have got at this location a directory in the name of movies. Okay. Now, as we go further, you see, now that we have got our folder as we wanted, we want to get inside that particular folder. Okay, so how do we do it? I've already told you the command for that. Let's just do a cd there and I can go for movies. Okay, I just have to, you see, I've not even typed the entire thing up. Okay, I've just put that command and I've just put M capital there. And then I was able to use a tab there. Okay, and with that as well, it will autocorrect or kind of autofill it. So let's just get inside that now in the movies folder. And now here, you see, we are going to create the further genres as we told it, right? Now for that, we are going to use the command as I've called you mkdir. Mkdir, I have to draw in, right, in mkdir. Like it's a make directory. Think of it like that. And what kind of directory I want to create? For example, horror. I want comedy. And then I have drama. For example, I want to create these three directories in there. Now you can see as soon as I press enter, I'm able to create those directories one after the other. I mean, you don't have to do it one directory at a time. You can put the name of all three together and you can create a directory like this, set of directories. And just to verify that we have got those, again, you can use a similar command like ls. For example, now you can see that we've got our directories. Now you can see the difference here, team, that the directories, they will kind of show in this blue color here, just to identify them as directories. But as we'll go further and create some files in there, okay, they will be shown with some different colors. Okay, so let's just do that. For example, what we'll do, we have got our three movies right over here. We have got our three directories over here. Now what we'll do is we will create individual files for it, or individual movie files for it. Okay, I'll show you how we're going to use it going further. For example, there is a command for that. We're going to explore again in the name of touch. We can use the touch command to create the files of the kind that you want. Okay, for example, I'll create in the name of comedy. I'm mentioning comedy 1 as one of the film .mp4. Right, I can create another one like comedy 2.mp4, and third again comedy 3.mp4. I'm just showing you how you can create the files in here of the kind mp4. Okay, it could have been AVI, it could have been mp4, whatever the extension that you want. Let's just see if we can create these files, and you can see the files are as well created. Now, how we can verify that? The same thing, like you can see ls, and you can see now that I have three directories. I have three files in there of the extension mp4. Now, team will repeat the same process. For example, I may want to do the touch upon, for example, a similar way. Instead of comedy now, you see we want it for horror, right? I'll just do it very quickly. Horror 1.mp4. I'll just say horror 2.mp4 and space horror 3.mp4. Let's just quickly do this. And you see now we've got our files too. So if I do an ls again, you'll see some more files getting in. So I'm showing you how you can create the directories. I'm showing you how you can create the files. I'm showing you how you can do it simultaneously. You don't have to do it individually. Again, finally, one last time or one last thing, we'll be doing a touch upon creating the drama movies, drama 1.mp4, drama 2.mp4, and drama 3.mp4. Let's just see what happens now. So again, the same thing. So for example, if I go back here, yes, they do. Extensions, they do matter, right? I mean, if you have a movie, it would be like an MP4 or an AVI. If it is an image, that would be like a JPG, JPEG, PNG and all. If it is an song, it could be like MP3, right? Or the dot wave. So the extensions, they do matter, right? So team, just to have a look at what kind of things that we have here, you see we have got our three directories and we have got our corresponding movies as we wanted. Just to get a clearer picture of it, you can use another command here, ls-l. Okay, so you'll enlist those in a lot detailed manner. For example, you can see here, okay, this is at the root. And this, what exactly is this? Don't worry, we'll have an entire discussion on this when we'll come across the permissions. Okay, so right, you can see that we have got our directories, 3 of those. We have got our files, okay, around 9 of those. Okay, they do carry, these are called, we call them permissions that we have around them. Okay, there's a user level, group level, guest level. We'll see what permissions are there and how do we configure these permissions in the first place. Okay, and the overall information around it as well. Okay, so we just enlisted those for the insights around it. Now, let's just take it further. Again, we're just exploring the different commands to this small example. Okay, so let's just say I want to move the files from one location to the other. For example, I have drama kind of movies that I want to move to the drama folder or directory. I have horror and I have comedy movies. I want to move them to the corresponding directory. So the command for that team is we use the command called mv. mv, for example, I may want to move comedy 1.mp4, comedy 2.mp4, comedy 3.mp4. Right. So I want to move all these files together into the folder of my choice. Okay. So for example, the folder that we have, for example, is comedy. You remember? Once you do that, it seems to have moved those files. Now, if I do an ls again, okay, you can see the other files around, like you have drama and you have horror, but you don't have the comedy movies. And where can you find those? For example, if I just move on to this comedy folder, you know the command for that. I mean, if I do an ls there, you should see the files going there. So team, remember, move command, think of it like it's kind of a copy and paste, or rather cut and paste, not copy and paste. It is not keeping the original files there. It is moving the files from that location to some other location. You will identify that with your destination. Okay, so same goes over here. Let's just say I'll use the same command again. For example, I want to for example, move instead of comedy. Let's just replace that quickly so that we don't have to change it entirely, write it entirely. Let's just say I say horror. I'll go here and say horror. And finally horror again. Okay, now in this case, the folder would be, or the directory would be horror. Is there someone saying something? So I think someone was on mute. Okay. So yeah, by the way, I'll have to move out. Okay, I'm in the comedy folder. So we'll have to move back and then we'll have to execute that command again. So I was in the comedy directory. We'll have to go back. And then, so this is again, team, one really good example of how you should use move. I mean, why did it not work? Try to understand this fact as well. Okay. We were trying to move the files which are not existing at this location, right? We were at comedy folder, right? So our files are not at that location. And that's what we were trying to do it. And that's why it did not work. Otherwise, what you could have done is you can mention the path from where you are trying to move it. That's fine as well. But because in this case, these files were not present at this location from where we are moving right now from comedy, that's why it did not show up. So now what we'll do is, now I'll execute the same command again. I don't have to, and you can see the movies are moved. If I do an ls there, you'll see that none. I mean, we are just left with the drama. And let's just do that quickly as well. Let's not wait around. Let's just quickly replace this with the drama. Okay, I'm just editing the commands as well. Okay, don't have to write them all over again. Drama 1.mp4. I'll go here and say drama 2.mp4. And finally, we have drama 3.mp4. Right, and over here, Rather, what you can say, here we will say drama, right? So just see if it does work, and you can see it has worked for sure. And if I do an ls there, let's just see the files are gone. So team, just try to understand, we are just exploring the different commands that we can use over here. Okay, even for example, I can use another command here. I want to enlist the list of the content, okay, that's present at these 3 folders. Okay, for example, we have 3 folders, right? We have comedy, we have drama, and we have horror too. Okay, so if I do this, you can see it is enlisting at that as well for me. Just observe the benefit of using this command. What it is doing? It is telling me in the comedy folder, you have total 0, and you can have, we have 3 files to it. Same goes with the drama, same goes with the horror. Okay. So ideally, you see, it is just telling us, enlisting us not only the files that are part of it, okay, but also it is telling us, okay, the kind of permissions that they are coming with. Now, don't worry about the permissions much. Okay, we'll discuss that as we move further. We'll see what kind of permissions and what is the meaning of this R, W, R, X and everything. But timing, just remember, okay, we have got our files there through the use of the move command. Okay, now that we've got our files there, okay, we can do something interesting. Okay, I'm going to explore one more command. I'm going to show you one more command. Okay, another command that I'm going to show you is, for example, we are at the movies folder, right? We are at the movies location. Okay, let's just create 3 more folders. Okay, let's just create 3 more directories. For example, mkdir. And I want to create 3 folders in the name of 1, 2, 3. Right. I just try to understand why I'm doing this, because what I want to do right now is I want to move the horror one, comedy one, and drama one into the directory number 1. I want to move horror 2, drama 2, comedy 2 into the directory number 2. And I want to move the horror 3, drama 3, and comedy 3 into folder number 3. Now, why I'm doing this is because I want to show you that you can copy that as well. Moving was one concept that we have seen. Now I'm showing you how the copy does work. Or does it, in fact. Okay. So for example, for this task, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into the directory as we have called 1. Okay, let's just get inside that directory. And now what I'm going to do is I have a file in the name of horror.mp4. I want to move from there. I want to copy that file from there to over here. Okay. Also, we have a file in the name of drama1. I want to move it here. I also have a file in the name of horror1. I want to move it over here. Okay. So how do we do it? Is it possible to copy it from there to here? So for the team, we'll be using one command, as we call it cp, copy. Okay. So I want to move the file that's present at the location of from the root location, right? So let's just use it from location, right? We want to move it from comedy. And from there, the file name is comedy 1.mp4. I want to move that file to where? At this location, the 1 location, right? Just a second. We want to do this. Just a second. Let me just clear it out. I think I might have misspelled it. cd ... Let's just go and see into comedy. How does it look like? Do we have a file there? Yes, we have comedy1.mp4. What was the command I had used? Let me just check it. In the comedy, we have comedy1.mp4. Okay, let me just check it. Have I done any spelling mistake there? Comedy1.mp4. Wait a second. Let me just once verify that. Okay. One small thing I have missed out on is that the path is missing. The path is wrong. Okay, I forgot we have created a movies folder behind that, right? So let's just do that first. Okay, I have understood the mistake I've done. I forgot there's a movies directory as well we have created. Okay, so what we'll do? Okay, let me just go back there. Okay, that's how it's important that you clear it out. Okay, we're in the movies folder, right? So this is one place I forgot to mention there. Okay, let's just move on to that one folder again. Okay, and in here, what we want, again, I'll write the same command, copy. But what I want to copy is I want to copy from the location movies. In that we have comedy. And in that we have comedy 1.mp4. And that I want to copy from that particular location to this location. This as in, I'm putting a dot there. The dot indicates the period. Okay. So once you do that, you see it has worked well. We're in the one folder. And if I do an ls here, you should see that file coming here. But the interesting fact is, if I go back, this is what I wanted to show you. If I go back here and go into that comedy folder, this is where we have fetched that file from, no? So if I go for that, sorry. And if I do an ls there, sorry. If I do an ls there, you see the file is still there. So what I'm trying to convey team here is that there's a difference between move and copy. Like, in Windows as well, we copy and paste it, that's different because the source of the file will be preserved. Whereas in this case, remember, if you do a CP copy, the file is still intact at the source, but it will be copied from there as a copy of that file, and then it will be brought to a new location, which is unlike to what MV does. Okay, so just be aware of this one fact. If I just go back. Now, I've just shown you with one single file, but just to save a lot of time, in fact, you can do it with all other files all at once. Let me just show you how. For example, I want to carry the same command again. For example, earlier one, which this is one, right? Now, instead of this, no, right now we have done it for comedy and comedy one, right? Instead, what we can do over here is I can use the same command, but sorry, I'll use it in the smaller case. I'll use the same command, but I can do it for the other kind of files as well in one go. For example, movies, horror / horror 1.mp4. And I can do the same thing for multiple files. That's the power of CP, is that not that only that you can copy. You see the benefit of it. If you have to do it on your GUI, with your UI, right? It will take 3-4 steps to do it. But if you're doing it with the CLI, it will merely take a single command to do it. For example, again, I'll show you, again, I'll put another path there, /movies. But in this case, for example, /drama, from there, I want to fetch the file. And then the name of the file is drama1.mp4. And then what I want to do, I want to put all these files at this root location. And when I do that, you can see it has worked well, right? 2 files literally copied from that place, put into a new place. And just if I do an ls there, you should see the files are received. Right? So this is the idea over here. For example, I can do the same thing. For example, if I go cd ... back again, I can move into the second folder, which is 2 folder. Okay, there are 313 as both over there. 2 to folder. Let's just go to get into that and use the same command. Okay, I don't have to again spend all the time again. What I can do is just go here instead of one. Just a second. It's because of I've zoomed in, no, it is kind of creating this issue. Okay. So let's just zoom in a bit more. Okay, I can go ahead and use the same command that we used earlier. Seems like it is not showing me that now. Just a second. Anyway, let's just do that quickly. CP, I want to do it /movies. But this time around, team, you see, we are going to do it all together once. Okay, we don't want to do one by one. Quickly, let's just do it for all of them. For example, I want to, because this is the second folder, I want to copy the comedy2.mp4. Also, I want to do a /movies under that. Okay, I have to put comedy there as well. Okay, there's one more path. / there. Okay, we want to do movies /horror. I'm just showing you how. You see, in one go, you can copy all the files back here. Okay, I'll just show you with this small, with this last command. Okay, we'll have horror dot horror2. Now this is for 2, right? .mp4. And then finally, we will have /movies /comedy /drama, right? And /drama 2.mp4 and to this root location. Okay, so it has worked. For example, if I do an LSL, you'll see that the files are received. So team, the idea here is that just wanted to give an idea how does the CP works. Also wanted to show you that it does work with multiple files in one go. Okay, and you don't have to do it individually as well. Okay, so I mean, I've just given the idea how it works. No point in showing again for the third one as well. I mean, once you're done with it, I'll show you one more command, how you can get rid of. Now, this is important. Okay, please pay attention. One more command with which you can get rid of these directories that you have created. For example, you have created 1, 2, and 3, right? I mean, directories. Let's just see if we can get rid of them. First of all, let me just get outside of those. At the movies folder, you know, at this location, we have those 3 directories, right? 1, 2, 3. Let me just clear this out first. I'll just use the same command, ls. You see, we have these directories, right? 1, 2, 3. I just want to delete those directories. What I can do? So for that, we have a command here called rm. So let's just see if it is possible to remove those directories 1, 2, and 3. Right. So this is the command. Let's just see if it does work first, and then I'll discuss a bit further about it. For example, when I do rm 1, 2, 3 and press enter, you see it cannot remove 1. It is a directory. Okay. And rather, the important thing about that is it's a non-empty directory. So one more attribute that we add for getting that deleted, is it? It's, for example, I can go ahead and see whether I can use -r there. Let's just see what happens then. Press enter, and you can see they seems to have gone. Let's just see. And now we no longer have those directories there. Okay. So the idea is that for the non-empty directories, you can use -r to get rid of the directories that are out there. All right. So team, okay, this is what I wanted to discuss with you for now. Okay, we have explored few commands as we'll move further. Okay, tomorrow we have some more concepts to look into, like we'll be looking at how to create the users, groups. We'll be looking at the permissions, which are very important, understanding the Linux environments and being able to use it. Okay, but we'll continue that in the tomorrow session, team, and see how these concepts fall into place. Again, after that, we'll have the bash scripting, shell scripting, which is part of the Linux environment. Okay, so we're gradually moving further, team, going ahead, team, over with these concepts, and I hope you have understood what we have seen today. Okay, so that's it, team. From my end, we're done for the day, and yeah, let's just go and let's just continue our discussion tomorrow. By that time, you can just try this out on your own end. See for yourself whether you can explore these commands and whether they do get executed, how do they work, and explore that. Okay, as well, just have a practice with those and do let me know tomorrow if you face any challenge doing so. Okay, till then, team, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next session. Have a very good night and have a great day tomorrow until we meet again. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir,
Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Bye-bye.
hello, hello.
Yes, yes. Who is it?
Yeah, sir. This is Pranay.
Yes, Pranay. Please tell me.
Sir, actually, I wanted to ask you about one question.
Hmm.
Actually, want to move into a DevOps field. Currently, I'm working as a network and security engineer. So, want to move into DevOps field. So, uh, would this course be beneficial for me to shift into this domain? And
So,
also, yeah,
yeah. Yes, Pranay. Surely. You see, what we are doing in this course will be entirely from scratch. We'll be learning. So,
yeah,
if you're part of the webinar that I discussed, so the very thing is like moving into the DevOps requires you to be aware of some of the very popular tools, services, and best practices that we use in DevOps, right? Now, it's not a very difficult domain. Like, I mean, it doesn't require you to be an expert developer or something that you have not done before, right? Here we are
yeah,
looking at the tools that will help you or that will kind of give you the familiarity with the very popular tools out there. And once you get the skill of using those, which again won't require to be an expert on anything, I mean, as a prerequisite of it. If you just follow along with this course and practice the things that we're doing, for sure, you can add this as a kind of an experience and as a upskilling to your resume to tell that, okay, I'm aware of the DevOps tools and services and practices. And yes, I'm looking for, I can go for the DevOps roles in the future as well. Okay, so Pranay, that's very much possible. That's the reason why you see this course is not assuming anything. We're literally going from scratch and making sure that we are covering all the required popular and important services, best practices in the DevOps. Okay, and that will help for sure in moving into this direction. Pranay.
as I've applied to multiple DevOps related job postings,
Hmm.
so they require that they require the person with experience on DevOps technologies. As I would be learning and practicing on this DevOps tools, and also
Right.
so I won't be having the uh, experience on a live project which many companies are or other such. I mean, the person who is working in DevOps since I mean,
No,
uh,
I totally get it. Yes, you
yeah,
see, Pune, you cannot appear for a profile which is expecting you to have 3-5 years of DevOps engineer experience or something, because
yes,
otherwise you cannot justify, isn't
yeah,
it? I
yeah,
mean,
yes,
being a beginner. So you'll have to look out for the roles who are willing to take up a DevOps engineer. Okay, an experience 1 or 2 years of experience where yes, you have acquired the skills that are required, and also you can design some small projects as a part of it, and that will be enough for it. So if a particular company is looking for a experienced person in the DevOps position, definitely we are not the right candidate for that, because I
yes,
mean, you cannot lie as well, and as well
yeah,
you will not have the kind of experience that they are expecting. Anyhow, even if you go further with it, still you will lack certain things that the kind of experience in the real world you will have. But what we
yes,
can do is the roles that require 1-2 years of experience or freshers in the DevOps domain as well, or 1-2 years of experience for sure. you can apply for that and justify your knowledge by creating with the services and the tools and technology that we are going to learn. You can create your own small projects that you can scale those projects up to look like or kind of have a real kind of applications for small scale industries, and that you can showcase as your skill there, and that for sure will help you. But again, for experienced role, please, I mean, I'll just suggest you that just take up some more experience and explore this word a bit more with some more projects, and then you can appear for the roles, and then it will be a lot more relevant. Okay, but yes, Pranay, I'll just suggest you that for now, just make sure that upskill yourself.
Yeah.
If you're sure, if you're confident that you want to move in this direction anyhow, and you want to kind of take on the DevOps profile only, you'll have to acquire the skills and implement those as well in order to set up some small. In fact, I'll share you certain ideas as well. We'll be using certain demos as well. Just scale those up
Yeah.
and create a small project. It will help you. Okay, going further, Pranay.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pranay. Yes, Devinder.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity. So actually, I'm just trying to know, are we covering Maven, Solar
Maven, I'll
Queue?
be doing. Maven, we will be having as a part of the project, as a part of one. I'm planning an entire end-to-end demo. Just again, like for Pranay was saying, no, at times what happens is that we look out for a real kind of project. So in that, we'll be using Maven. Okay, and we'll be doing Maven over there. Sona Cube, we will not have a major focus on that. Prometheus will have, but Sonar Cube will not have a major focus. But don't worry, I'll just kind of will take it up just for some time, but will not have a detailed discussion on that.
Yeah,
Devinder.
just overview will be helpful.
Surely we'll take it. Surely we'll take it, but not as a part of a final project or kind of a longer project. But Prometheus and Maven, for sure, you can be assured that we will have it in our project and in our demonstrations as well.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Surely, Yashwant, it will help you. It will help you for sure. Just make sure that the tools and the technology that we are learning, make sure to kind of practice it during the daytime or the time that you can take out. Just make sure to explore it a bit further. Just look out for kind of what are the different features and everything around it. And for sure, it will help you going further.
Hello,
All
Swami.
right, team. Yes. Yes, sir.
We will get the lab if suppose we want to practice all this command? Do we will get it?
You see, I'll show you in a way that you will not have to pay for it. For example, I'll be doing this on the AWS environment. If you can get yourself a free tier account on there, no,
Okay.
you won't pay for it. I'll just show you the way or with the configuration with which you will not have to pay for as much. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, at times here and there, certain services might, but otherwise, most of the things I'll show you, no, will remain in the free tier, and you will not have to pay for it. And I'll just share you all the documents and the instructions as well, just to follow along and perform the demos on your own. Sunny.
Okay, so for Jenkins, likes of Jenkins,
Yes,
all that,
yes,
so
yes,
we
yes.
need
For Jenkins, Ansible, Terraform, I'll be providing you all the documents for that.
yeah, all that.
Okay,
documents.
during that.
Okay, but this
demo.
network Kings told us that they will give us lab. They
If
will.
they've told, they will provide it as well. I'm just saying that from my end. Okay, I mean, as a practice, as a homework, in the back end, the team might provide you. But I'm just telling you on top of it, I'll
Okay.
provide you all the document and everything for the demonstrations as well, which may or may not be in line with the labs. I mean, the lab codes and here and there, they might be different as compared to what I'm using just for the sake of it. But I'll be showing you my resources as well. That's what I'm saying, Sunny.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. So team, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. I think too much of Selenium and all your GitLab. Those things I don't think will be able to take it up. GitHub will be taking up. GitLab we won't be. Okay, because you see there are so many tools. If you start to take everything in there, no, it will extend this course so long that again we'll see if it is possible, and to some extent we'll do it, but not as a major discussion. Okay, but to some extent we'll do it. All right. We'll be using different tools like GitHub, for example, Jenkins and Terraform like ones or Ansible likes, right? That will be a lot more popular in order to set up the pipelines, isn't it? But anyway, team, we'll just explore that as we move ahead. Let's not stress a lot on that for now. Don't worry, we'll be taking the most important things and the most relevant things as much as possible. If at all certain things I feel that are really relevant and needed to be added as well for the benefit for learning, definitely we will add it over the time. Okay.
Okay,
But as
then.
of now, for sure, we will take up the most important and most popular ones, for sure. So team, all right. I'll just see you tomorrow. Okay, let's not extend it too much. It's already
Thank you.
10 minutes. Yeah, thank you very much, team. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you.